Known as history's most prolific and deadly female poisoner, Giulia Tofana aided over 600 women on murdering their husbands. There's quite limited information about Giulia Tofana's childhood, but it is said that she is the daughter of Tofania and Francis D'Adamo. She was born in the year of 1620 in Palermo, a city located in Sicily, Italy. At a very young age, Giulia had already inhibited an interest in apothecaries, which is not surprising as her mother was an apothecary herself, who made and sold perfume, cosmetics, herbal medicines, and other concoctions. Giulia spent most of her days at her mother's apothecaries, where she observed, learned, and finally mastered the skill of apothecaries. On July 12, 1633, Giulia, who had reached the age of 13, lost her mother. Tofania D'Adamo was executed after she was convicted of murdering her husband, Francis D'Adamo. It is assumed that the motive of the murder was probably due to Francis D'Adamo's abusive character. Giulia Tofana lived in the era of Renaissance, where most women had only two options for life: marriage or cloister, or even worse, prostitution. Basically, during that era in Italy, arranged marriage was a common practice between families where women are only prepared to be a submissive wife and serve their husbands well. When a husband was not satisfied with the wife, it led to domestic violence. Domestic violence is not something unusual at that time, even today. It has become usual since the 14th century. Sometimes the wives are beaten to death, which raises fear among the wife. It was probably due to the condition of her own family, where her late father was also an abusive man, that made Giulia to feel heavily sympathized with those abused women around Italy. With the goal of releasing those women from unhealthy and dangerous marriage, Giulia, at the age of 13, had successfully created and perfected a deadly poison called Aqua Tofana. Aqua Tofana was based on arsenic, lead, and belladonna. It was tasteless, colorless, and harmless-looking liquid, which was a perfect poison for the wife to administer into food or water without anyone's notice. Packed in small vials, it was marketed under the disguise of perfume or healing oil, or it would be labeled as manna of St. Nicholas of Bari, which is supposedly for devotional purposes. Giulia sells Aqua Tofana in her apothecary, and no one has suspected the activity. Aqua Tofana is not only unnoticeable when being administered into food or water, it is also a slow-acting poison that produces a symptom in its victim that resemble those of advancing disease. It is said that the first dose will make the victim to have the symptom of flu, where a doctor would conclude the patient to have a common fever. The second dose will make the victim suffer from dehydration, diarrhea, stomachache, and tightness. The third dose will sever the second dose symptom and make the victim to be bedridden. Lastly, the fourth dose will eventually lead the victim to death. A person can give the victim a precise time of death by carefully spacing the time of each dose, so the victim might die in a week, a month, or even a year, depending on when they want their victim to die. The way Giulia advertised Aqua Tofana was just by using word of mouth, where she will tell a troubled wife that she has a simple way in helping the wife get rid of the husband. Her beauty that she inherits from her mother makes it easier for her to charm her clients. Eventually, the poison was a hit among the wife because it has not only helped them to be free from abusive relationships, but also gave time for their husband to repent his sins and put his affair in order, which then created an opportunity for those who were greedy to gain inheritance from their husband. As Giulia's business expanded, her daughter, Girolama Sperla, followed Giulia's footsteps, and it became a family business. But due to the popularity of the poison, they have to move throughout Italy, in order to lay low. They moved from Palermo to Naples and from Naples to Rome. Despite their effort to lay low, their crime was finally revealed in the year of 1650. It is reported that a woman successfully bought Aqua Tofana, went home, and administered it into her husband's soup. But then, she suddenly felt a pang of guilt, where she immediately stopped her husband from drinking the soup. The husband who saw his panicked wife begins to suspect something and forces her to tell the truth. In the end, the woman told her husband about Giulia Tofana, by which her husband then dragged his wife to papal authorities to report about Giulia. However, instead of being arrested, Giulia was just given a warning by the authorities. The incident, though, causes her to flee and hide in a nearby church. She asked them for a sanctuary, which was granted. So Giulia lived at the church for a while, until a rumor started to spread throughout Rome, claiming that Giulia had poisoned the water supply. The church was stormed by a mob, and Giulia was handed over to the papal authorities, who tortured her until she confessed of poisoning 600 men from the year of 1633 to 1651. In July 1659, Giulia Tofana, her daughter Girolama Sperla, and 3 of their employees were executed in Rome's Campo di Fiori. Giulia's corpse was then thrown over the wall of the church that had offered her sanctuary. Some of her clients were also executed, while some were thrown into the dungeons of the Palace of the Holy Office. And there were also some of them who managed to get away from the authorities. And that is the case of Giulia Tofana, one of the most deadly female serial killer.